check. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Questions for Coach Hastings?
Another big series here this weekend at home height. Let's talk about using the home advantage. What kind of advantages do you think you can use being here, being with a team like Michigan?
Well, one, we've benefit from getting off to a good start. I believe the following that we've had in this building has been pretty good. And so trying to take advantage of getting off to good starts. And then when you're going through that game and momentum has gone from one side to another and it's sitting over in Michigan's side, do something to get the crowd into it to help you change momentum. And then just the benefit of, which we need to take care of and take advantage of, is sleeping in your own bed every night and not getting on a plane and going somewhere and sleeping in a hotel room. The page turns once you get to January, and you've got people looking towards, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel where it's getting shorter every week. And so for us to, Matty D. St. Phal stopped by today. He's back from his break from the All-Star game. And, to sit and have him talk about being in here, playing Michigan, the memory that he helped create, those are things that, it's good to see that come back and him talk about that, because we've got to try and make this place a difficult place to play. And this year, at times we've done that and at times we haven't.
Is there something you think maybe is the difference there between making it a hard place to play and not? I don't know if there's...
Our play. Literally, we've got to own the positive in that when we have and when we haven't. And again, we've had some good Friday nights, and human nature gets dealt. Are we a little satisfied, and is the team a little irritated that you played the night before, and they bring it a little bit more? So for us, it's growing in that maturation process of understanding immediacy, what's going on right now, and deal with that, and then understand once that's over, you put it in a box and it's gone, and then go back to what it is in your daily.
Last week, you guys had the opportunity to host the Wisconsin Timberwolves hockey team. What was that experience like for your guys, just to kind of have them, have a practice with them?
Well, actually, to have them understand how fortunate we all are to be in the place that we're at, the university, the city, and what adversity is defined in many different ways. And so for us, it was great for me to be able to see a couple of our guys go back to, I think it was called Minnows and Sharks, right? And see Adam, or Pietola, go back to when he was about 8. I think he morphed into that right in front of me. And so to see those guys just enjoy and remember maybe a little bit of why they started playing hockey, and to see those people come out and just, to have the opportunity to interact and become a positive influence. And then also, as I told the Timberwolves, them be a positive influence on our guys. Our guys had an extra hop in their step, and I think there's many reasons for that, but that's a great interaction. So when we have an opportunity to do that, it's something we want to take advantage of.
I know you've been asked about Quinn a lot, but did you expect to see him play this way in his second season, his second year as a sophomore?
Well, I think you hope, and there's two sides of this. There's a real piece to sophomore slumps, where a freshman can come in and have a pretty good season, and then it just doesn't start off that way for him in year 2. I think all the work that Quinn put in this last summer, his personal expectations for himself, his consistency on the practice rink, in the weight room, I thought confidence was oozing out of him no matter where he was at, in the weight room, on the rink, around the guys. And for him to get off to the start that he did and then sustain it. A year ago, he got off to a really good start. And then we ended up going to North Dakota, and our whole team had a little dose of reality of what it is to play on the road. And so there were some peaks and valleys. The one thing that I've seen with, Finney is it's pretty consistent. And so I'm not surprised. I'm appreciative of all the work that he put in and utilizing everything we have here at the university to help make himself better. But the one ingredient in that we don't get to be a part of is the effort and the attitude that he's put into it. So I'm happy for him having the success that he has, but he's a guy that's more worried about what's out the windshield than what's in the rearview mirror.
Do you know any more about Scott's status?
Getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, getting better. Kind of day to day.
Okay. A chance he might play
Yep.
this week? Okay.
Yep, there's a chance.
Do you have a set, when you go to overtime, you've got a lot of experience with this year, obviously. Do you have a set kind of rotation of three guys you're going to go with and how that is, how that's structured, or is that a feel on what this game has been like? Who's going?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We've got some guys that I think when you put lines together, and you and I have talked about this, how do you get to that? Historically, I've kind of gone in pairs. Now, when you have a line like Finley, Morrissey, and Mosley, somebody else has got to be into that. The guy that I thought really started to play well and ends up getting the shootout winner is Fitzgerald. And so I like having centers as much as we can if you're out, to start it, obviously the face-offs, because possession's so important. But usually there's six, and then I like to let the game dictate a little bit on if somebody's feeling it that night and they need to get some more minutes, share that.
Speaking of face-offs, Owen Lindmark's been a guy that's, I think second in the country right now in percentage. I mean, anything over 60% you're seeing, it's a pretty good season.
Yeah.
What has he done? I mean, that's the guy that's seen a lot of face-offs in his years here. What does he do that gives him the best chance of success? You're not going to win them all. You're not going to get the bounces, but how does he do that?
I think he varies what he's doing. He's not predictable. And then when he is predictable, where he still finds a way, whether it's with his feet, whether it's with his line mates, he just takes an incredible pride in it, and he works at it. He works at it on game day, he works at it during the week, and it's allowed him to get more minutes, right? Because, and I just had this conversation with Fitzy, he wants more minutes. And he said, hey, how can I do that? And so we've talked about, sitting down with Coach Connaught, myself, and, is he somebody that gets mixed in the penalty kill? And what I told him is I said, I'd really love to have your number pop in my head when we're sitting there and it's a defensive zone face-off. How do we get ourselves out of this? Or on the flip side, we're in the offensive zone and we need one. Having his number pop in my head and say, hey, go out there and try and win us a face-off. So there's some things that I think that Owen has done just over time. I think he's incredibly confident in doing what he's doing, but he's put a lot of work into it too.
Fitzgerald is someone that hasn't had the kind of numbers in the draw, so maybe that, I don't know if that peeks in your head of like, can we use that on PK knowing that we need to win that draw and get that out and kill off 20 seconds?
And it's enormous. It just is. There's guys in the National Hockey League making a living at doing just that. And in fairness to Christian's played wing for a lot of the time in his career. So putting him in that environment compared to what Owen's been doing forever, it's a little bit steeper hill to climb, but he's willing to do the work, and hopefully that's something he can continue to get better at.
But you've already played a team earlier in the season. Do you kind of go back and look at that series this week when you've already played Michigan, or is this something where both teams have changed? They don't really use those results in that film.
I think a little bit of the old and the new. You go back, you look at that. In today's world, with what we can get on video availability, we watch every single game that Michigan's played. And they can do the same to us. And so you go and see if there's anything that's changed, anything that really sticks out. But yeah, you go back, you see what happened the last time you played, what were some things that worked well for you, and really what's Michigan doing right now. But our focus, as it has been here in the second half, with some of the adjustments that we've had to make personnel-wise, we're worried about ourselves and trying to get to our game as quick as possible while we give the respect that's definitely due to Michigan and what they do.
How do you think the D-Corps handled last week? Everyone got thrown around with two going out, and knowing that that's kind of the reality going forward. What's the mentality there in terms of how you're structuring that, who you're putting with, and especially with Hobach, kind of being able to bounce this way or another?
We're still a work in progress. I thought there were some peaks and I thought there were some valleys. And the thing that I've really appreciated about it is the guys are putting their arms right around it. Anthony Kerr's done a really good job at collectively getting that group together and working on what he thinks they need to work on as a group daily. Grabbing the guys after Friday's game and talking to them Saturday and wanting some clips as a defensive core on what went well, what didn't. So we're a work in progress, but I do like the willingness and the want to out of that group to progress every day.
Anything else? We're good. Thank you.
Thank you.